Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carter Walker. I love talking about movies, music, games, and comics. And this is my first video in a little bit, I think since Plane or the top 5 anticipated. I can't remember. Either way, it's been a while because I got super sick last Tuesday for a week. I woke up in the middle of the night just sweating, I had chills. I didn't go to school for 2 days, which sucked, and I didn't work for 3 days, and then I lost my voice, and I just kept coughing, and so if I lose my voice, I sound gravelly, or I cough in the video. That's why. I wasn't making YouTube videos. I beat Fallen Order in 5 days, because I thought Survivor would come out, and then I got time off work for it, and then they delayed it, so that was cool, I guess. So I had to cancel my time off work, and yeah, that sucked. Anyways, today I went and saw the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, Knock at the Cabin, starring Dave Bautista and Jonathan Groff, and I thought it was pretty good. I am a pretty average fan of Shyamalan's films. I really enjoy Unbreakable. I think Split is really freaking good, actually. But I like some of his movies. I like most of his movies. I think they're pretty decent. I hate The Last Airbender. I saw that when I was 8, and I was like, dude, this movie sucks. I hate Glass. I thought that was one of the most disappointing movies I've ever seen. I can't remember really what other films I've seen of his. I know I've seen quite a few. I like The Visit, But I feel like lately he's been very off and on. His track record's been a little mixed. And so I was hoping that Knock at the Cabin would kind of be a return to form of him. Because I didn't check out Old. I just heard very mixed reviews on Old. But I think Knock at the Cabin was done really well. So starting out with the positives for Knock at the Cabin, I think from a visual standpoint, it's very well shot. It's very well directed. The shot choice is very interesting. There's a lot of shots that are really well done, specifically when, and this is in the trailer, so I don't think it's too much of a spoiler, but when the dads are tied up, Shyamalan shoots their perspectives, their head-ons from behind Dave Bautista, because he's such a hulking figure. So you'll have Dave Bautista split in half, and you'll have Andrew on one side and Eric on the other, and it's very interesting how it's framed and switches, and it seems very parallel to each other, switching back and forth. It's well written for the most part. The characters are pretty good, apart from maybe a few choices that didn't quite make sense. I feel like the tension in this movie is there from the start, because it actually starts off very strong. It gets you right in the middle of it. I was thinking that there'd be setup and then the home invasion type thing later, but instead it goes right into the home invasion, and you get flashbacks scattered throughout the film to flesh out the characters, which I thought was a very interesting and a very neat idea, and I thought it worked well. And then I thought the performances were very well done, especially Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista is really incredible, just breaking right out of his, norm here. And you see most wrestlers get fit in a niche, like The Rock just plays The Rock and doesn't really stretch his chops. I think John Cena does a very good job of playing Peacemaker, especially in the Suicide Squad. But Dave Bautista has been playing Drax, and he said that he doesn't want to be put in that type of character. He's really good in Glass Onion, and he's doing a good job of showing that he can be a dramatic actor as well, and that he's not just, the muscle, the beef. I mean, he is in Spectre, and you can actually see his Spectre tattoo. I thought that was very funny in this movie. He's good in Spectre, but he does a great job here of just being completely against type. He's a very soft-spoken man. Leonard is a school teacher, and he's very soft-spoken, very well with kids, and does not want anything to happen to this family. He doesn't want to hurt them. However, the choice must be made. And I thought that presented a very interesting narrative throughout the movie, a very interesting back and forth, is that Leonard is so convinced that he's right. I'm trying not to spoil anything. And he knows that convincing Eric and Andrew is going to be impossible. And so he does what he can, and he tries to do it as calmly as possible. And some of his compatriots are a little more rough around the edges, a little more direct, but he's very calm with it, he's very kind, and it's obvious that he doesn't, wish anything bad to happen to them, but he knows what must be done. So I thought that was very interesting, instead of just the crazy, evil home invasion type that we always get. I thought that was a very neat thing to do, and whether that credit goes to the writers or to Shyamalan, credit where credit is due, I thought that was a very cool idea. I liked that a lot. Probably my favorite part of the film, besides Bautista's performance, I'd say, would be that kind of twist on the genre. It's very confined. You get a little bit of character development throughout, just from their interactions and from flashbacks. For the most part, I thought it was pretty good. On the mixed, there's a few choices in this movie that don't quite make sense. And you'll kind of see as the movie goes on, they give like different reasons for the choice, but they never kind of nail it down. And maybe I'm just in the minority on this, but hopefully when you see the movie, you'll kind of understand. There's just some choices from the main characters that I was like, what the, like, that doesn't make sense, or just some things that kind of seemed needless to me, seemed pointless, just for, to pad out the runtime or to get another jump scare in. I thought weren't very necessary and served no purpose. My only negative is that in the middle, it kind of dips a little bit with its pacing and its level of intensity. It's very well paced for the first act, I'd say. It's rising, and then a big thing happens, and then it dips and lulls for a while, and they kind of just have back and forth arguments, which is interesting, but again, it's just the same argument of you have to choose someone to sacrifice. Like, we're not going to choose someone to sacrifice, obviously. Back and forth. Maybe it poses some questions. It doesn't give you the answers until later, which is interesting, but again, there's no real payoff for a long, long time, and so it kind of just felt like a stalemate for quite a while. And I might be in the minority on that, but that was just kind of what held the movie back for me. And I felt that the ending dragged on a little too long. I really don't want to spoil anything because I was very surprised with how the movie ended, kind of. I mean, I guessed it, but then I kept second-guessing myself. It's one of those things that happens in Shyamalan's movies or other mystery thrillers where you guess something and then you kind of second-guess yourself and it ends up being right. But I felt it ended on a good note. I feel like the ending overall, thematically and narratively, was great. But I felt unsatisfied. I felt maybe if it had ended 2 minutes earlier, or if it added something extra, like, that sounded so stupid, but another thing to reinforce the themes or to reinforce the narrative home, I felt like I would have liked it a little more. But that's just me. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I genuinely enjoyed the movie. One of the best of 2023. That joke's going to get old so fast. But I enjoyed it. I think 2023 is starting off great. There really hasn't been a movie I detested so far, I think. I hope. I mean, I really haven't seen too many movies, but there hasn't been a movie I hated yet. So, cross my fingers. But I think Knock at the Cabin is another step up for Shyamalan, kind of gaining back some of the trust that he's lost with the general audience and with some of his fans lately, just with his career going like a roller coaster up and down. I feel like this is a step in the right direction. I think, some of the early reviews I just looked at are kind of harsh. I thought it was not fun, but I thought it was a very interesting spin on the home invasion type movie. It's very confined. You can tell that he has a very obvious talent and a passion for making these. It's very well done, and I think the performances are all great. Maybe could have used a little bit extra, speed in the middle, cut a little bit at the end, or add something. I mean, again, what do I know? But overall, I think it was pretty decently done. I'd give this like a 7.5. If you saw Knock at the Cabin, what did you think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or does it rank for you on Shyamalan's films? I'd say it's probably in the top half of his movies for me. And if there's anything else that you saw or any other videos that you want to check out on my channel, feel free to check them out. I just did a top 10 most anticipated of 2023. If you're interested, be sure to check that out. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day. Take care.